As a professional freelance designer, I'm doing it a bit more than or around 1.5 years, I think. And I can tell you one very important thing. I'm tired. Okay, it was a little bit dramatic, but it's 10 o'clock in the night and I'm still working. It's actually a personal project that I'm doing here, but still it's a work because you need to do your marketing, right? It's not only like working for the client all the time or working on the projects directly. You need to do some stuff to show your updated works to other potential clients or to find other clients. So you cannot just stop after your daily work. So I can say it's 10 o'clock and I'm still working, and I don't know until when I will work. It depends on my energy and my eyes. It depends on how long can I keep them open. This video is about disadvantages of being a freelance designer, but if you watch until the end, I will give you one advantage which will make this all for worth it. Number one is long working hours. It's really not like working in a job, going to a job. Okay, also on some jobs you just work also over hours and you do a lot of stuff and everything, but when you do your own freelance jobs, it doesn't stop after only the project. Sometimes you have to work for the project even long hours, but after these long hours, as I said, you have to do, for example, marketing stuff. Because if you don't show your work, if your client cannot see your works, if the client doesn't know you exist, how can they even hire you? Another thing is emailings. Let's say a client finds you and then you start to talk, maybe first emails, and then you make a call, maybe you do another call after that, and then you start negotiating about the price and you are describing your work, and then there are many things, many details, so there are many conversations, many emailings, a lot of meetings, and also during the project sometimes you don't have a project manager, you are the project manager for the design part at least. So you have to also have a lot of meetings during this design process. So I can say you really work hard. Not every day, but most of the time you feel like that. Even if you don't work physically, like sitting here, by the way, like this chair, I feel like it just sticks to my butt or whatever. I'm always sitting here. Even if I don't sit here physically and working, I feel like I have to do something. I start to feel guilty about it. And I can tell you, it's not a healthy thing at all. I'm also trying to change this. I'm trying to find different systems. I couldn't figure it out yet, but hopefully I will find a better system, more healthy system for myself. Second thing is the money. Like when you work somewhere, you have your salary, you know how much money you will get at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month. So you maybe feel safe, or at least you know what will happen. But when you're a freelancer, you are not sure if you will get a project or if you will find another client, or if you don't have at the moment a client, if you will find any client next month or the other month or 5 months later. You don't know this. And it really gives a lot of stress to you sometimes. Or even if you have clients and even if you are earning some money, you don't want to spend it at all because you don't know what will happen in 6 months, so you need some savings. Because if you don't have any client in next couple months, you will still need to pay your rent, you will still need to pay your internet, all this device and everything. You still have a cost of living, but you don't know if you will earn. So even if you have money, you don't want to spend it much. And also it gives you a lot of stress for accepting or not accepting some projects. Like deciding how much you would charge for the project is not that easy because there are different type of projects. Sometimes it's a electric car project, sometimes it's just a mouse project, or it can be a very small project or a big project, and you need to charge them differently, not only depending on the hours, but also depending on the value you will add to this company, and of course depending on their budget. So sometimes if you are in a bad position financially, you kind of have to accept some low budget projects maybe. So the financial part it can be very stressful, and also you still need to negotiate yourself about your own value, about your own money, so it can be stressful. The third disadvantage comes to my mind is you deal with many different type of people. Some clients are really cool, you really enjoy the project, you even want to do more than what you deal, or you don't even feel like you overworked, you just enjoy, and also even having conversation with this client is good, the project is amazing. There are like this kind of cases, but also there are sometimes clients that they want you to be available 24 hours, let's say. or they put a little bit too much input to design and try to design themselves and try to use you as a tool, but you know that it doesn't work like this, or this design will not work like that, and you need to explain this to the client. And some clients can be very, how to say, you might need to show them the right way to design rather than just saying yes to everything and follow what they do. You know, you are not a tool, you're a designer, so you have sometimes discussions with your client and it gets into an unpleasant way. It might happen. Or sometimes you have to talk with the engineering team a lot and you have to do a lot of little changes or try to convince the engineering team, but maybe it's not your strong part, or maybe it's your strong part but you are not strong on another thing, like, I don't know, marketing, and you need to talk with the marketing team. So you are not like in a designer position only and you have your manager and mostly talking to your manager, or you don't focus only on the creative part. You really need to find the right way for the whole project, for the whole design direction sometimes. And it's a bit more than focusing only on the creative part, only on the design part, let's say. And it can be very stressful. But these disadvantages, these things I mentioned, the first 3 of them came to my mind. The 3 biggest disadvantages I think are these. They're not always with you in your life, you know. Some days are like this, some days is the opposite. Some days it's just super fun, super good, everything is the opposite of whatever I said. And I told you I will give you one advantage that will make you forget about all this stuff, and it is the feeling of successing something. It can be your first paycheck, it doesn't matter how much amount, it can be very small or big, doesn't matter, but if you feel that this is the success, it might be it. Or it can be just a message from your client, like being very happy, like saying, hey, I'm really glad to work with you, I'm really happy with this project, we as the whole company are really glad to work with you. This can be amazing for me, this is really important and it makes me feel really proud. Or sometimes you involve in a project that change consumers' life, let's say, somehow you improve, like you don't have to change their life, but if you add some value with the product you designed to anybody, even if it's like one person, it also makes you feel really good, really proud of yourself, and it makes all of these worth it. Or knowing that you were responsible for this whole design process and you were the designer of this thing, you managed everything well enough to finalize the project. These kind of feelings really make me at least feel like it all worth to get all these disadvantages. And there are even more advantages of being a freelance designer, and if you want to see them, you can watch them here. I mentioned them all in this video, so you can feel better, I guess, after watching this. This video was a little bit low mood, but this one is quite positive. So see you in the next video. I will go back to work.